O people, eat what is lawful and pure of the produces of the earth, and follow not the footsteps of Satan, for he is your enemy, severing you from Allah. He, Satan, only bids you to indulge in evil and to do things foul and obscene, and that you say against Allah things you do not know. And when it is said to them, follow what Allah has revealed, they say, we would rather follow such things as we found our forefathers doing and believing. Would they do so even though their forefathers could not refrain from evil, nor could they achieve their goal? The case of one that calls those who refuse to obey the commandments of God is like the case of one who shouts to one, an animal, who hears nothing but a mere call and a cry. They are deaf, dumb, and blind. Moreover, they do not use their reason. O you who believe, eat of the good and pure things we have provided you with, and render thanks to Allah, if it is He alone whom you really worship. He has forbidden you only to eat carrion, that which dies of itself, the blood, the flesh of swine, and that over the sacrifice of which the name of someone other than Allah has been invoked. Yet he who is constrained without desiring them, nor going beyond the limits of bare necessity, incurs no sin. Surely Allah is great protector, ever merciful. Surely those who hide any part of the teaching which Allah has revealed in this perfect book, and take a paltry price for it, it is these who feed their bellies with nothing but fire. And Allah will not speak to them on the day of resurrection, nor will He treat them as pure, and there awaits them a grievous punishment. It is these who have preferred error to guidance, and punishment to protection. The onlookers of these sufferers will say, how very enduring they are at the punishment of the fire. That punishment is because whereas Allah caused the perfect book to be revealed to suit all the requirements of truth and wisdom, they have rejected it outright. Surely those who dissented from the perfect book have indeed gone far astray in enmity of the truth and in obstinacy. It is not the sole virtue that you turn your faces to the east or the west, but true virtue is theirs who believe in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, and in the prophets, and who give away their wealth and substance out of love for Him, to the near of kin, the orphans, the needy, the wayfarer, and to those who ask, and in ransoming the slaves, and who observe the prayer, who go on presenting the zakat, and those who always fulfill their pledges and agreements when they have made one, and those who are patiently persevering in adversity and distress, and steadfast in times of war. It is these who have proved themselves truthful, and it is these who are strictly guarded against evil. O you who believe, equitable retaliation has been ordained for you in the matter of the slain. Everyone shall pay for his own crime, the free man murderer for the free man murdered, and the slave murderer for the slave murdered, and the female murderer for the female murdered. But as for him who has been granted any remission by his aggrieved brother or family, then pursuing of the matter shall be done with equity and fairness, and the payment of the blood money to him, the heir, should be made in a handsome manner. This is an alleviation from your Lord and a mercy. But he who exceeds the limits after this commandment, for him is a grievous punishment. O people of pure and clear wisdom, your very life lies in the law of equitable retaliation. You have been commanded so that you may enjoy security. It has been prescribed for you at the time of death to any one of you, that if the dying person is leaving considerable wealth behind, to make a will to his parents and the near of kin to act with equity and fairness. This is an obligation incumbent upon those who guard against evil. He who alters it after he has heard it should know that it is those that alter it who shall bear the burden of sin. Allah indeed is all-hearing, all-knowing. If anyone apprehends that the testator is partial or follows a sinful course, there will be no blame on him, provided he sets things right and so brings about reconciliation between them. Surely Allah is great protector, ever merciful. O you who believe, you are bound to observe fasting as those before you were bound, so that you may guard against evil. You are required to fast for a prescribed number of days. But if any one of you is sick or is on a journey, he shall fast to make up the prescribed number in other days. And for those who are unable to fast is an expiation as thanksgiving, the feeding of a poor person daily for the days of fasting. And he who volunteers extra good will find that it is even better for him, and that you observe fasting is better for you, if you only knew. This lunar month of Ramadan is that in which the Quran started to be revealed as a guidance for the whole of people, with its clear evidences, providing comprehensive guidance and the discrimination between right and wrong. Therefore, he who shall witness the month should fast for full month during it, and he who is sick or is on a journey shall fast to make up the prescribed number in other days. Allah wishes facility for you and does not wish hardship for you. This facility is given to you that you may complete the number of required fasts, and you may extol the greatness of Allah for His having guided you, and that you may render thanks to Him. And when my servants ask you concerning me, tell them, I am nearby indeed. I answer the prayer of the supplicant when he prays to me, so they should respond to my call and believe in me, so that they may proceed in the right way. It is made lawful for you on the night of the fast to approach and lie with your wives for sexual relationship. They are a sort of garment for you, and you are a sort of garment for them. Allah knows that you have been doing injustice to yourself by restricting conjugal relations with your wives even at night. So He turned to you with mercy and provided you relief. Now enjoy their company and seek what Allah has ordained for you. Eat and drink till the white streak of the dawn becomes distinct from the black streak. Then complete the fast till nightfall, and you shall not lie with them while you perform i'tikaf. These are the limits imposed by Allah, so do not approach these limits. Thus does Allah explain His commandments for people that they may become secure against evil. Do not appropriate one another's property with iniquity and by false means, nor seek to gain access thereby to the authorities so that you may appropriate a portion of other people's property by sinful means and bribery, and that too knowingly that you have no right to do so. They ask you about the lunar months. Say, they are appointed periods of time for general convenience of people and for determining the time of pilgrimage. And it is no virtue that you come into the houses from the backs of them, but the true virtue is his who guards against evils. So instead of fostering superstitious habits, you should rather enter the houses from their proper doors and take Allah as a shield so that you may be successful. And fight in the cause of Allah those who fight and persecute you, but commit no aggression. Surely Allah does not love the aggressors. And slay them, the aggressors against whom fighting is made incumbent, when and where you get the better of them, in disciplinary way, and turn them out whence they have turned you out. Killing is bad, but lawlessness is even worse than carnage. But do not fight them in the precincts of Masjid al-Haram, unless they fight you therein. Should they attack you there, then slay them. This indeed is the recompense of such disbelievers. But if they desist from aggression, then behold, Allah is indeed great protector, ever merciful. And fight them until persecution is no more, and religion is freely professed for Allah. But if they desist from hostilities, then remember, there is no punishment except against the unjust, who still persist in persecution. The violation of a sacred month may be retaliated in the sacred month, and for the violation of all sacred things the law of retaliation is prescribed. Then he who transgresses against you, punish him for his transgression, to the extent he has transgressed against you. And take Allah as a shield, and know that Allah is with those who guard against evil. And spend in the cause of Allah, and do not cast yourselves into ruin with your own hands, and do good to others, and verily Allah loves the doers of good to others. Accomplish the Hajj and the Umrah for the sake of Allah. But if you are kept back, then offer whatever sacrifice is easily available, and do not shave your heads as is prescribed for the pilgrims, till the offering reaches its destination in time or place. And whosoever of you is sick, and has an ailment in his head necessitating shaving before time, then he should make an expiation, either by fasting or almsgiving, or by making a sacrifice. When you are in peaceful and healthy conditions, then he who would avail himself of the Umrah, together with the Hajj, should make whatever offering is easily available, and whosoever finds none for an offering should fast for 3 days during the days of the pilgrimage, and for 7 days when he returns home. These are 10 complete days of fasting in all. This is for him whose family does not reside near the Masjid al-Haram. Take Allah as a shield, and know that Allah is severe in retribution if you neglect your duties. The month of performing the Hajj are well known, so whoever undertakes to perform the Hajj in them should remember that there is to be no obscenity, nor abusing, nor any wrangling during the time of Hajj. And whatever good you do, Allah knows it. And take provisions for yourselves. Surely the good of taking provision is guarding yourself against the evil of committing sin and begging. Take me alone as your shield, O people of pure and clear wisdom. There is no blame on you that you seek munificence from your Lord by trading during the time of Hajj. When you pour forth in large numbers from Arafat, then glorify Allah with still more praises near Mash'ar al-Haram, the holy mosque in Muzdalifah, and remember him with gratitude as he has guided you, though formerly you were certainly amongst the astray. And then proceed to return from Arafat, from where the people proceed to come back, and seek Allah's protection. Verily Allah is all protector, ever merciful. When you have completed the rites of devotion of the Hajj prescribed for you, remember Allah with praises as your lauding of your parents, or yet more earnest devout lauding. Now there are some of the people who say, Our Lord, grant us all things in this very world, and there is no share for such in the hereafter. And there are others among them who say, Our Lord, grant us good in this world as well as good in the hereafter, and guard us against the punishment of the fire. It is they for whom there is a very large portion of the reward of what good deeds they have accomplished, and Allah is quick at reckoning. Remember Allah at Mina with his praises during these days appointed for this purpose. However, if anyone hastens to leave the valley of Mina after 2 days, there is no sin for him, and if anyone stays behind, it is no sin for him either. This direction is for him who guards against evil under all circumstances. So take Allah as a shield, and know that you shall all be brought together before him. Of the people there is he whose talk about the present life pleases you, and he calls Allah to witness as to that sincerity which is in his heart, and yet he is of the most contentious of all the adversaries. And when he is in authority, he runs about in the land, striving to create chaos and lawlessness in it, and to destroy the tillage and the stock. But Allah does not love disorder. When it is said to him, Take Allah as a shield, vain pride holds him to sin. Gehenna shall suffice him as a reward, and how evil a resort it is. Of the people, there is he who sacrifices his very life seeking the pleasure of Allah, and Allah is very kind and compassionate towards such of his servants. O you who believe, enter into the fold of those showing complete submission to Allah, all of you, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Verily, he is your enemy, severing you from Allah. But if you slip off, even after the clear proofs that have come to you, then bear in mind that Allah is Almighty, all-wise. If the people do not believe even now, they look for nothing but that Allah should come to them with the threatened punishment in the shadows of the clouds as well as the angels to execute his orders, and the matter be settled. And to Allah are returned all matters for decisions. Ask the children of Israel, how many a clear sign did we give them? And whoever changes the favor of Allah after it has come to him with every convincing proof, and so makes himself deserving of punishment, he will find that Allah is surely severe in retribution. Decked out fair is this present life to make it appear attractive to those who disbelieve, and they hold those who believe in condemnation. But those who guard against evil shall be placed above them on the day of resurrection. And Allah provides his gifts for whom he will without reckoning and measure. Humankind were once a single community, but they differed. So Allah raised his prophets as bearers of good tidings and as warners. And with them he revealed the scriptures containing the truth, that he might judge between various people concerning all their mutual differences. But none differed therein except the very astray, to whom it, the scripture, had been given. And they differed only after clear proofs had come to them, out of spite against one another. Now Allah guided those who believed by his leave to the truth, concerning which they, the disbelievers, had differed. And Allah guides whosoever wishes to be guided to the right and straight path. Do you think that you will enter paradise, while there has not yet come upon you the like of that which befell those who passed away before you? Distress and afflictions befell them, and they were made to suffer the violent tremors, so that the messenger and those who believed along with him spoke out, when will come the help of Allah? Then they were told, behold, surely the help of Allah is always nearby. They question you as to what they should spend to seek the pleasure of Allah. Say, whatever of good and abundant wealth you spend should be for parents and near of kin, and the orphans and the needy, and the wayfarer. And whatever good you do, surely Allah knows it fully well. Fighting has been ordained for you, though it is hard for you. But it may be that a thing is hard upon you, though it is really good for you. And it may be that you love a thing, while it is bad for you. Allah knows all things while you do not know. They ask you with regard to fighting in the sacred month. Say fighting in it is a grave offense. But to bar people from Allah's cause and disbelief in him, and to hinder people from the holy mosque, and to turn out its people therefrom, is still grave in the sight of Allah, and persecution is all the more grave an offense than killing. And they will not cease to fight you until they turn you back from your faith if they can. And whoso from amongst you turns back from his faith, and dies while he is a disbeliever, it is they then whose deeds go in vain in this world and the hereafter. And it is they who are the fellows of the fire, and therein shall abide for long. Verily, as to those who believe, and those who emigrated and struggled hard in the cause of Allah, it is they who do rightly hope for Allah's mercy, and Allah is great protector, ever merciful. They ask you concerning intoxicants and games of chance. Say, in both of them is a great sin, and both are harmful too. And they have some uses for people, but the sin inherent in them is even more serious than their usefulness. They ask you how much they should spend in the way of Allah. Say, the surplus, what you can spare after spending on your basic requirements. Thus does Allah make clear his commandments, so that you may reflect upon this world and the hereafter. And they ask you concerning the orphans. Say, to set their affairs right, keeping in view the promotion of their welfare, is an act of great virtue, And if you intermix with them, they are after all your brethren. And Allah knows the wrongdoers from the right doers. And if Allah had so willed, He would certainly have made matters difficult for you. Verily, Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. And marry not an idolatress until she believes, while a believing maid is certainly better than an idolatress, even though she may highly please you. And do not give believing women in marriage to idolaters until they believe. And a believing slave is better than a free idolater, even though he may highly please you. It is they who invite to the fire, but Allah calls to the paradise and to the protection by His command. He makes His messages clear for the people so that they may take heed. They ask you about having conjugal relations during menstruation. Say, it is harmful and a pollution, so keep aloof from women during menstruation, and do not approach them for sexual relation until they are thoroughly cleansed. But when they have fully cleaned themselves, you may come to them as Allah has ordained you. Verily, Allah loves those who frequently turn to Him with repentance, and He loves the strivers to purification of themselves. Your wives are as a tilth to produce and rear children for you. So come to your tilth when and how you like, and send forward some good for yourselves, and take Allah as a shield, and know that you shall meet Him, and give good tidings to the believers. And make not Allah an excuse through your oaths, that you may thereby abstain from doing good, and from becoming secure against evil, and from setting the affairs right, and from making peace between various people. And Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. Allah will not call you to account for what is vain and unintentional in your oaths, but He calls you to account for what your minds resolve and accomplish by intentional swearing. And Allah is great protector against faults, highly forbearing. Those who vow to abstain from their wives, the maximum period of waiting for them is 4 months, after which divorce becomes inevitable. Then if they are reconciled within 4 months and revert to their normal relations, then surely Allah is great protector, ever merciful. But if they have resolved on divorce, then they should know that surely Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. And the divorced women must keep themselves waiting for 3 monthly courses as iddat, and it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah has created in their wombs, if indeed they believe in Allah and the last day. And their husbands have a better right to take them back in the meanwhile, provided they desire and mean reconciliation. And women have their rights similar to those of men, and their obligations in an equitable and just manner. Yet men have a place above them, and Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. Such a revocable divorce may be pronounced twice. Then, after the second pronouncement, there should be either retaining the wife with honor and fairness, or letting her leave with goodness. And it is not lawful for you to take back anything of what you have given them. However, if both the husband and the wife fear that they cannot abide by the injunctions of Allah, and if you, the Muslim community, also fear that they cannot observe the limits prescribed by Allah, then there is no blame on either of them in what she gives up to redeem herself as khula. These are the injunctions of Allah, therefore do not violate them. And whoso violates the injunctions of Allah, it is they who are really the wrongdoers. But if he divorces her for the third time, then she is not lawful for him after that, until she has married another husband. Now if he, the second husband, also divorces her of his own accord, then there is no blame on them, the former husband and wife, to return to each other by remarriage, provided they are sure that they will be able to abide by the injunctions of Allah. These are the injunctions of Allah. He makes them clear to the people who would know. And when you divorce your women, a revocable divorce, and they approach the end of their iddat, the prescribed period of waiting after divorce, then either retain them in an equitable manner or send them away, freeing them in an equitable manner. And do not retain them wrongfully, that you may exceed the proper limits and do them harm and maltreat them. And whosoever does that, he has indeed done wrong and injustice to himself. Do not take Allah's commandments in a light way, and remember Allah's favor upon you and what He has revealed to you of the book and the wisdom, wherewith He exhorts you, and take Allah as a shield, and know that Allah has perfect knowledge of everything. When some of you divorce their women for the first or the second time, and they approach the end of the prescribed period of waiting, then do not prevent them from remarrying their former husbands when they have agreed between themselves to an equitable and decent contract. This is an exhortation for those among you who believe in Allah in the last day. This is more blissful for you and pure, and Allah knows while you do not know. The mothers shall give suck to their children for 2 full years. This instruction is for him who desires to complete the period of suckling. And it is incumbent on the man to whom the child is born to provide them, the mothers, the usual maintenance and their clothing for this period, equitably and according to usage. No soul is charged with a duty except to its capacity. Neither shall a mother be made to suffer on account of her love for her child, nor shall he to whom the child is born be made to suffer on account of his child. The father's heir has a like duty. However, if mother and father both desire weaning by mutual consent and consultation, then there is no blame on either of them. And if you desire to provide a wet nurse for your children, there is no blame on you, provided you hand over what you have agreed to pay equitably and in accordance with popular usage. And keep your duty to Allah, and know that Allah is seer of what you do. Those of you who die and leave wives behind, these wives should keep themselves in waiting for 4 months and 10 days. So when they reach the end of their prescribed term of waiting, then there is no blame on you for what they do with regard to themselves about their remarriage in an equitable manner, and Allah is fully aware of what you do. There is no blame on you respecting that which you speak indirectly regarding a proposal of marriage to these widowed women in their period of waiting, or whether you keep it, the proposal, hidden in your minds. Allah knows that you will think of them in this connection, yet make no agreement or promises with them secretly, except that you say a decent word, and confirm not the marriage tie until the prescribed period of waiting reaches its end. And know that Allah knows what is in your minds. Therefore beware of Him, and know that Allah is indeed a great protector against faults, highly forbearing.